What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. I'm Edgar. I'm the host, and today is the day that we're going to be talking about Clash in Paris. That we're in Paris, France, home of the PSG, the UEFA champions over there, and it was a pretty long show. I mean, we had 6 matches. The show was at least like 4 hours long. Um, so we're about to go over it and see what kind of shenanigans we can come up with to try to make sense of a lot of these things that we saw here today. And to help me, Mr. Blood and Tommy, the Snug crew is here. What's up, fellas? Y'all ready for today?
Yes, we are. Yes, I am. A little bit of my enthusiasm for the show kind of down, not gonna lie, because I had 3 matches spoiled for me before I was able to watch the show on its replay. The main event was ruined for me the moment I clicked to watch the show later in the evening, and when it didn't give me a replay option, and it literally showed me the ending to the Fatal 4-Way, like who won right then and there, as I opened the freaking the fucking PLE, and I was like, great. And right before that, I was just checking my Facebook notifications. I had 3 matches right there. Some asshole had posted first thing on my timeline, 3 match results. So I was like, okay.
Well, Mr. Blood, I don't even feel bad for you because that's what you get for checking your Facebook.
I'm sorry. I have to respond to followers and whatnot. I'm also selling a car right now on Marketplace.
Well, whose fault it? No, I'm just kidding, dude. No, I stay off my phone completely. So check this out. So on my time, the show was supposed to start at 10 a.m., right? And then I left my house right at 10 a.m. I came back at 2 p.m. So I'm talking about 4 hours later, I came back. And right when I came back, it was the entrances to the main event. So I watched the main event first and I got to see what happened. And then I had to wait for the press scrum to finish, the post show, which was like an hour. And then on top of that, I had to wait another 30 minutes
for the replay
to come on.
Yeah, and legit. Like when we watched it, I had to rewind all the way back to the first match I saw tonight. And this is why I love and hate the European tour for these time slots. The first match I fucking saw was the Donnybrook match. Mm-hmm. Like it would only let me rewind as far as the Donnybrook match. So I watched from the Donnybrook match all the way to the end of the show. Then had to, by the time we finished doing all that, the replay was already up and the post scrum was over. I didn't even get a chance to see the post scrum because by the time I finished, it's already like 8:45-ish or whatever. And I've got to rewind back to the very beginning of the show on the replay to watch the first 3 matches. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, bro. No, the first match was like an eternity of a segment.
It's pretty fucking frustrating because you can't time it. Like you can't go about your day and do shit without like knowing what the scheduling is, because I left and I came back 4 hours later. I'm like thinking WWE PLEs are usually three and a half hours
on a 5-match card. Yeah. Then they threw in the tag match on Friday.
And I come back 4 hours later and I'm like, the main event is barely about to start. So this show was like fucking 5 hours long? And I'm like, great. Now I have to wait for the post show. And now I have to wait for them to put the replay on. And it was like, it wasn't on, the replay wasn't on Peacock until like 6.5 hours later. And I'm like, bro, come on. That's some bullshit.
Keep in mind, like, when we got home from our excursions all day and got dinner and brought it home to watch the show, it was 5:50 p.m. Eastern time here in Florida when I turned on the show, and the main event had just ended.
Man, I can't wait for them to come back to regular American time.
Well, like I love the European crowds. I hate the European time slots because it's so confusing, especially for us wrestling content creators. Like, having to figure out what times, and we're all in different states. So we have to convene when we're meeting. There's a 3-hour difference between me and you. There's a 1-hour difference between me and you. And it's like, okay. And I'm sitting here I'm getting conflicting fucking information of when the show starts. I like check one website.
Mhm.
Website says this. I check another article. It says this. I ask my Google, my home device. It says this. And then I'm like, so is it 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? And then you're telling me 10 o'clock for you.
And then also it's like, why on a Sunday?
For real, people are at fucking church, bro.
Like, come on. Like, do it. If you're going to do it like a Saturday, for me personally, a Saturday would have been perfect. But no, let's do it on a Sunday. I couldn't watch it live. And I would
literally love to know why they picked Sunday when their PLE scheduling is always Saturday for the last 3 years, and they moved them to Saturday.
That's exactly why I was confused when I first heard that it was going to be on a Sunday. I'm like, okay, if it's a 2-night event, I get adding in the Sunday there. That makes total sense. But this is a 1-night thing. Why the hell was this on a Sunday when all the other ones are on Saturday?
Your audience is now accustomed to Saturday night PLEs for 3 years now. So it's like, dude, you just randomly throw a Sunday. Hell, even Saturday night's main events on Saturday. Fucking, and even WrestlePalooza's on a Saturday. Why was Clash in Paris on a fucking Sunday? By the way, and the only reason I can think they did this is because it's the Sunday before Labor Day. So they're thinking, oh, a bunch of people will be off, school will be closed, so we can do it on a Sunday. And I'm just like,
I mean, that arena was probably booked on that Saturday.
It was
they probably had a
booked on that,
something.
and it probably was. And I'm just like, okay, because I'm thinking, well, if it's Saturday, you finish the show, you guys all fly back Saturday evening, into Sunday, get your travel done, so you're back in the States for Monday. But they're doing another show overseas on Monday over there, and now Raw starts at like 7 or some shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, the inconsistency. Like, it was really bad the last European tour. Do you remember how jumped around we were for like 3 weeks?
Yeah. And I think it starts at 11 a.m. my time, which means it's going to start at, yes.
Who the fuck's watching Raw at 11 a.m. in America?
11 a.m. 11 a.m. in Paris is like fucking 8 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm saying, like, they're like, nah, it'll be fine. They must be expecting Monday Night Raw on tomorrow to legitimately be mostly a rewatched show, like a replay show, because this is America, bro. Like, bro, corporate America works like from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So who the fuck, like, you'll get to catch half the show on your lunch break.
Yeah.
Like,
so that means.
Luckily, Friday Night SmackDown is in Chicago.
Thank Christ, because this shit, I love it and I hate it. Great crowds, horrible fucking scheduling for the U.S. market. Terrible scheduling for us.
Yeah, it's bullshit. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 2 p.m. for you, Mr. Blood, just a heads up. But
I'm just going to fucking watch it at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. like I normally would. I'm not disrupting my fucking goddamn early afternoon to watch a 2.5 hour show when I could be out doing a bunch of other shit like the rest of the world is tomorrow on Labor Day.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Are we going to talk about the show at all? Or are we just
now that we've groveled and bitched?
Yeah. I'm already heated, dude, because I did the review before this in Spanish for the Snug en Español, and I'm fucking heated, so I'm ready, y'all.
So wait, you've already reviewed this in Spanish?
Yeah.
For fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
Whatever we can do to bring more content to the Snug universe, folks.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Eric from the SDM podcast. But yeah, dude, the opening match was actually pretty fucking wild because not only did we see a really good match, but we saw a bunch of aftermath in this match that could lead to a lot of things, which we'll get into that when we get there. But first, let's talk about this match between Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. The crowd never disappoints. They're in France. They fucking pop big for the lockup, which I can't remember the last time I seen that happen. So that was fucking great. But man, Bronson Reed got a lot of heat on Roman Reigns in this match. It was mostly all Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns, like Mr. Blood said, sold his ass off for Bronson Reed. And man, Bronson Reed looked really good. Roman Reigns was, trying to fight back every time Roman was getting some offense. Bronson Reed would cut him off. And it was one hell of a match. Hard hitting match, fucking 5-star, fucking let's go back and forth and do all these flips and blah, blah, blah. No, this was a match. This was a wrestling match. And it was fucking amazing. First question, fellas. Thoughts on the match? What did you guys think?
I thought the match definitely did what it needed to do. I like that it was kind of telling the story of, Roman is incredibly strong, but Bronson is stronger. So instead of it being brute force versus brute force, it had to be brute force versus Roman's speed. And Roman's ring psychology, his ability to not only be the veteran, but use his veteran instincts to constantly keep outsmarting Bronson Reed. When brute force wasn't working, Roman had to think on the fly and go, okay, well, I'm the vet. I'm going to show you exactly how a veteran does this. There were several points in the match where that was a factor. Like when Roman couldn't get him down on the clotheslines, he said, fuck it, pretended to do a clothesline and fucking hit him with an uppercut straight to the throat. And it was in the commentary called it too. That's a veteran move on the side of Roman Reigns. And it is. I enjoyed the match. I liked it a lot. I definitely think they did a great job in making sure Bronson looked like the monster he should be looking like. Got a lot of fanfare. They gave this match a decent amount of time, at least 12, 15 minutes. And on top of that, I think that as far as it's concerned, the match is the biggest match of Bronson's career up to this point, for sure. It kind of hardly, in this day and age, it almost does not get bigger than Roman Reigns, even without a title, That being said, I do think the wrong guy won. I said this before, I'll say it again. I do think Bronson should have won. I don't think he should have won clean, but I do think he should have won in a fashion that maybe Braun Breaker came out earlier, not just for what happened in the post, but I think he should have come out earlier, cause a distraction, or even Paul Heyman caused a distraction. Roman gets screwed. Roman loses via shenanigans, protects Roman's legacy, builds Bronson's legacy. But this way, because we know we're going to War Games, I don't think it makes sense to have Roman beat Bronson at War Games, beat Bronson before War Games, and then go into War Games, and then I'm supposed to be like, how are they even still really a threat to like Roman and Jay and LA Knight and fucking CM Punk? All these guys have lost to these guys in some form or fashion, So I thought a massive win from Bronson here would have really served that story. Like, oh crap, they've got to overcome this new faction, which I always think is better. But I feel like we're kind of making the mistakes we did with the Bloodline 2.0 last year. They got cakewalked all over the fucking place, lost at freaking at War Games. We got to the Monday Night Raw on Netflix debut, and Roman still won against Solo. And at that point, none of us even believed Solo was a threat anymore because of War Games. So it's like, you gotta, don't repeat the same thing. Sometimes it's okay to make your big star lay down so a up-and-coming star can get that rub. And what a fucking rub that would have been to have hey, I pinned Roman Reigns, clean or unclean. It's in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole thing, I do completely agree with you. I said it on Wednesday when we did the predictions that Bronson Reed absolutely should have won this. I agree that it should not have been clean, but Bronson Reed should have won this because Triple H right now loves putting out the same old stories over and over and over again. And it seems like he's doing it once again here, unfortunately. But this whole match, I had a lot of fun with it. I love the fact that after the match, Roman got his shoes back, signed them, and then threw the shoes out one by one. Like that itself, I watched that and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. It gives like a little kid that opportunity to say, hey, I have one of Roman's shoes and it's signed. Hell yeah. So So I will say that whole thing was absolutely awesome on Roman's part. I do also wish that Braun would have come out earlier, because that whole thing, I'm like, okay, when's he gonna come out? And then the match ended. I'm like, wait, why isn't he here? Why has Braun Breaker not come out yet? He should have been here by now. And then that whole aftermath thing happened. I'm like, oh, why didn't you come out earlier, dude? That would have been great. But here we go.
Yeah, so Roman Reigns did get his shoes back, which was a great moment because, yeah, Roman Reigns has been getting punked left and right for his shoes. So he got his comeuppance, he got his revenge, you can say, on Paul Heyman after hitting him with that guillotine. So that was a nice little spot that they did there. And then, Roman standing on top of the table, and then he gets absolutely taken out by Braun Breaker. So now that we have Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns out of the way, I think it's time that we can start looking forward to Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns, which I think is going to be the bigger match when it comes to these two. Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker is the one that I'm looking forward to the most. But unfortunately, after what we saw happen, because Roman Reigns got taken out. I mean, he took like 2 spears, 1 tsunami splash, and then Roman Reigns was stretchered, and then he took another tsunami splash while he was stretchered. And then at some point, Jey Uso came out, but I'm like, took you long enough, Jey? Like, where were you before? Like, Roman Reigns, he's done. But I don't know if we're gonna see Roman Reigns in time back for fucking War Games after, because this felt like, hey, we're gonna write Roman Reigns off. He's gonna be off TV for a while. But what did you guys think about all the fucking craziness that happened after the match?
So he's definitely going to be off TV for a while, and I guarantee it so he can go film his stuff for Street Fighter. But that being said, I mean, War Games is always in fall. So you're talking like late October, early November for War Games. So he'll be back in time for that, to build to that. But the thing is, so 2 spears, 3 tsunamis, and it's like, damn. And he sold the crap out of it. He sold the absolute crap out of it. I love that he got the shoes back, but what a gangster ass move, right? Like, I just fought a whole match to get my shoes back just so I could sign them and throw them away anyway. Because it was never about the shoes. It was about what taking his shoes represented. Like, you are not going to punk me. You are not going to bully me in my own yard. So I love that. That's such a G move. Like, I got him back. Now I'm going to choke you out for holding them. I already laid you out for taking them. And now I'm just going to sign them and give them away to someone so they can sell them on eBay. So, and he only got 2 shoes out in the audience before he got speared. So I'm just like, there's people in the audience. They're like, damn it. Like, there's 2 shoes signed sitting by the announcer table.
And he signed 2 different ones.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's the thing. And he didn't throw them to the same people. So I don't know how much a single, or a half a pair of Nike is signed or unsigned. You can't wear it. You can display it, but like, I guess technically though, when you display Nikes, you don't always need both pairs on the wall. A lot of people like to do the single pair, and they do like a wall of a half pair. Sorry. So, and I mean, someone will buy that motherfucker on eBay. Somebody will. But I think the only thing about this after segment, it took way too long to do this. It drug on. Between the match and this, we were almost at like 38, 40 fucking minutes.
That was an hour.
Was it about an hour from the match to the end of this entire segment? Mm-hmm. And then the after segment where freaking Pierce kicks Braun and Bronson out. And it's just like, okay. Have we had another match yet? Like, and then when we got to the second match, I was like, fuck, bro. Like, why couldn't I have watched this first? Why'd the replay have have to take, because I'm sitting here like, dude, I was trying not to fall asleep on the couch because it took a minute. And I had already watched the last 3 matches of the show. Now I'm on the first 3 matches, and the first one's the longest of the entire evening with the segment. So I was just like, y'all could have trimmed the fat here several different places. But all in all, successful. I think it's still, though Bronson lost, even though he should have won, still incredibly impactful. The right guys were standing tall, at least, and they look like an absolute threat. They look like you step on the wrong crack on the sidewalk, you're going to get your rib cage crushed inwards. Period. And that happened here. And the message is, if we did it to Roman, well, we can definitely do it to you.
Yeah, this whole thing was just one massive message to everyone in the back, just going, hey, we just did it to the tribal chief, the chosen one himself. Now, if you think we're not going to do it to you, good fucking luck. Because that's what they essentially said in all of this. This whole thing with Roman, I'm actually getting pretty excited for when he comes back, since obviously he's going to be out for a hot minute. But let's be honest, when this man comes back, just like he did with Punk and Rollins, he is going to go after those two quite easily. Like, those two will be his first targets, without a shadow of a doubt, which makes me think he's going to be back before War Games. It wouldn't be the first time they would have gone, hey, it's not going to be 4-on-4 or 5-on-4. Here's the 5th member. They did it with CM Punk last year. So that whole thing, I would not be surprised if he's out for a while filming Street Fighter, and then a couple weeks before War Games, he comes back with the words, hey, y'all have yours. There's one person missing. Here comes Roman. I would not be surprised if that's how it goes.
Yeah, hopefully. And also, I feel like Roman Reigns has been in War Games at least, the last 3 years? 2 years?
I think it was last year was the Bloodline War Games. Year before that, he was he in it when Punk returned? Was it the Bloodline versus
Bloodline versus Judgment Day?
Yeah, it wasn't Bloodline versus Judgment Day. It was Judgment Day versus Cody, Jay, Seth, Sami Zayn, and then Drew McIntyre was partnered with the Judgment Day.
That's right.
So so in the last 3 years he's been in 2, because the year before that was Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and his team when Sammy turned on KO.
Gotcha. All right, so next match, tag team champions, the Street Profits versus the White Six, and we didn't really cover this.
There, bud, with the titles.
What's that?
White Six has the titles. Street Profits don't. Other way around.
What did I say?
You said tag team champions, Street Profits against the White Six.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, White Six are the champions, not the Street Profits. And we didn't really cover this on Friday Night SmackDown, but they're starting to, again, plant some seeds that there might be some tension between the Street Profits or something like that, because the Street Profits were giving each other some weird looks here throughout the match. There was some miscommunication. There was like, oh, I'm going to start the match first. No, I'm going to start the match first. So they're doing that with the Street Profits, but I feel like they're doing that with a lot of teams lately, and some of them, they don't actually capitalize on it or do anything about it. So I'm not really too invested in whatever this is that's happening with the Street Profits until I actually see something happen. But the White Six won thanks to the help of Uncle Howdy and Nikki Cross, who were at ringside. So it was a little bit of everything that worked against the Street Profits in this match, and the White Six retained. But what did you guys see here that stood out to you guys the most about this one?
How absolutely terribly booked it's all been. Because let me ask you a question. Can somebody tell me who the heels and who the baby faces are in this situation? Because if it's supposed to be the Wyatt Six, why are they interfering to make sure the Street Profits lose?
That's a good question.
So
I would say, yeah,
because that's heel shit, right? But then they're setting, but the Street Profits are apparently heels, right? Because they've been so aggressive all year and they've been running in and attacking people and this and that, right? So who am I supposed to root for here? Like,
yeah,
I don't like, that's my problem. Who do I root for? Because you're classic wrestling psychology, good guy versus bad guy, good team versus bad team. Bad team needs to be booed. Good team needs to be cheered. But now we're in the confusing day and age where heels are cooler than baby faces, but we have baby faces apparently, possibly, maybe acting like heels, and heels who maybe possibly are heels getting who are wrestling like baby faces. So I don't like it doesn't make fucking sense, bro. I don't get this. And because none of it makes sense, I have no investment in it. Because it's hot shot booking. It doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. There is nothing cohesive about the way they're telling this shit. And I gotta be honest, I don't remember a single fucking thing from the majority of this match because I spaced out during this entire my wife had fallen asleep on the couch because of Roman versus Bronson and the aftermath of Roman versus Bronson. She fell asleep. So literally, I'm sitting there staring at the TV. I'm daydreaming during the entirety of this match. The bell rang and I was like, oh shit, was I wasn't watching. I was so fucking bored. I checked the fuck out. My ass was on fucking Pluto, bro. This match, I have no thoughts on it other than it just makes no fucking sense what they've been doing with this at all. And that's a problem. I'm staring at the TV and I couldn't pay attention to a single thing happening on it. That's a problem. And my phone was way over there on the charger. So I wasn't distracted. You the least interesting thing on WWE TV right now for me.
I do honestly wish that they booked the Wyatt Six better. I just do. And made it make sense on which side they're actually on. Because, like you said, it is very, very, very confusing. Now, when it comes to the timing of this booking and all of that, I kind of wish they fucking announced this Friday. Like, seriously? You're over here making this match at 4 number 1 contenders. Didn't tell us when the hell it was. And then as soon as the show goes off air for SmackDown, oh, wait, here's another match for Clash in Paris. Seriously?
What difference does that make to you, Tommy?
Literally none whatsoever. It should have been announced earlier instead of just a few hours after the show closed out. No sense there.
But why?
People like us, we kind of want to put our thoughts out there and put our predictions out there and all of that, and it would build it a little bit more when it comes to tension and all of that. But they didn't do that. We had no way of putting our thoughts out there on what this match could have been.
I'll tell you exactly why it's a problem. Why did this match have to be on the show when we could have just swapped it with the United States Championship title match from Friday?
Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, I definitely would have switched it. But
Sammy and Solo were bigger stars. Sammy and Solo are bigger stars. They both could have been the second match on this. It'd have been much better. The crowd would have ate this fucking shit up for Sammy and Solo.
Or why not put your Raw tag team champions instead?
Yeah, hey, there you go. The tag champions people actually give a shit about.
For not defending anyways. So
the tag title, but at least people give a fuck about the Judgment Day. So,
you have a point.
they would have gotten fanfare just because it's them. But this was like, you could have left this off the fucking card.
Yeah.
Save
Hell,
this
if I
15
were
minutes.
If I were to replace a different match with this, I would have taken this match out and put Dom and AJ here. They pop crazy for Dominic Mysterio. Why the hell wasn't that match here instead of randomly putting it on Monday Night Raw?
Hell, I'd like to know how come Tiffany Stratton hasn't defended that title since SummerSlam.
Or
that could have been here too. What are we building with that? Why were there only they only threw it on here because they wanted to even out title matches versus non-title matches, 3 and 3. That's the only reason they threw this.
Careful
match
what
on
you
show.
wish for, Mr. Blood. Do you really want to see a Tiffany Stratton match on Clash in Paris? Be honest.
Depending on who she's versing, I would probably be more invested in that than I am in this, because this has completely lost me. Tiffany's right behind it. Don't get it twisted. But the only reason they threw this here is because they booked all of Friday, and then they were like, fuck. We could probably throw at least one match on. All right, we'll go ahead and add it for Sunday. And they're like, so we'll have 3 title matches and 3 non-title matches. Only reason this shit was here. Because fans were complaining that there were only 2 title matches on the fucking card.
All right, let's get back on track here, Tommy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely would have replaced it with Dom and AJ for sure. But other than that, this thing was, as much as I hate to say it, because I myself love the Wyatt Six, this match was just so uninteresting. It sucked. Like, I would say out of all of this is like bottom. And this is coming from the damn Street Profits. Come on. But this whole thing frustrated me because the match was not good.
I mean, the action in from bell to bell wasn't bad. It was just the fact that it was just very last minute. There was really no investment in here. But if you just sometimes, people would say, "Oh, well, just enjoy wrestling, bro. Just enjoy the wrestling." So I did. I watched it. And just, if you ignore everything else, if you just focus on the in-ring stuff, it wasn't bad. But the thing that was interesting was that whole storyline that they're trying to start with the Street Profits. The only problem with that is that it's kind of hard for me to get invested in that, because WWE is notorious for planting these seeds and tag teams and then not doing anything about it. They did it with the Garzas a while back, recently with Humberto Carrillo.
A-Town Down Under.
A-Town Down Under. The DIY was having issues. They do this a lot, and then the WWE doesn't follow through. So I'm like, I'm not really going to get too crazy about this thing with the Street Profits. They're even doing it with Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. And it's like, I'm not even going to make a big deal out of this until I actually see something more from that. But, moving on, you guys. Next match, you want to talk about the bottom of the bottom. Intercontinental Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. First of all, as you guys may know by now, I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch fan, so I'm already not really too thrilled about this. But then you add Nikki Bella in the mix, and that's go away heat for me. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I did not watch this match. I'm not gonna waste my time watching this. I'm sorry, but no, especially on a show this long that was like over 4 hours long. I'm not even gonna waste my time on this. So, is there anything here that I missed?
Becky Lynch did her absolute best to make Nikki Bella look good, and Nikki did not look good. Nikki seemed kind of gassed very quickly. There was a massive botch where they just were not communicating, where Nikki Bella countered Becky Lynch near the turnbuckle. Nikki Bella went up for basically a corner springboard enziguri. Becky Lynch completely forgot to be in position, was still selling the face smash, completely walked, turned her back. Nikki still hit the move into the ground and just plopped on the floor. Becky just turns around and realizes, oh shit, I was in position. Pauses for a second, and then like, okay, fuck, I'll just go in for a pin. Kick out. Like in the middle of the match, like the most awkward, like fucking thing ever. And I'm like, my wife's like, she missed. And I said, no, she didn't miss. I said, Becky wasn't even in position. I said, based on that reaction by Becky meant to be there and completely forgot her part of the spot because Nikki just jumped expecting her to be there, hits the ground, and they both just kind of look at each other from the ground standing. And then she just awkwardly goes for a pin. This match also had a part where Becky forgot to kick out. And so the ref, this happened twice tonight, by the way, in 2 different matches. Becky forgot to kick the fuck out. And so the ref had to not count the pin awkwardly. And then she threw her arm up after the ref goes 1, 2. That happened twice tonight. Once in the John Cena Logan Paul match and once here. And it was just like, bro, how come Trish Stratus is older than Nikki by almost fucking 10 years? And Trish Stratus, every time she comes back, looks 2 times better by comparison than Nikki did here tonight. And Nikki's had more matches this year than Trish Stratus has had in the last 20. So I'm just like, yo, just please please heal. Just heal healthy, come back. Keep Nikki Bella off my screen. Nothing against Stephanie Garcia, the woman that plays her. Your time is over. It's quite clear you cannot keep up with the level of athleticism happening today. She was never a great wrestler to begin with. Oh, and for people who are hating on me for saying that I'm a Nikki Bella hater and she didn't rip off John Cena, she's got her own moves. Why is her Rack Attack 2.0 literally a fireman's carry start to her finisher, just like John Cena's? Why did she do the fucking her submission hold? That is literally an STF. And you're telling me she didn't rip off John Cena? Her ex is in the building. And I'm just like, I can't, bro. I can't. Nikki is a carbon copy bootleg girl version of John Cena in every sense of the word. She was never good then. She's barely good now. And this is just, stop. Why is she back here on a regular schedule? Get out. Go home. Go back to hosting TV shows on USA.
I am going to repeat something that I said on Wednesday. No offense to Stephanie Garcia. She's great. Awesome. Nobody wanted Nikki Bella back. Why is she here in the first place? No one wanted this woman back in the WWE. She just inserted herself back at number 30 at the Rumble, may I add, which is the biggest way to just go, hey, I'm back. Welcome me back. Even though literally none of you asked for me, they more wanted AJ Lee back than me, but I'm still here type of thing. Like, why is she here? This whole thing with Becky, please tell me that this is their only match. Do not make this into a mini fucking rivalry. Please keep Nikki Bella away. We'd never even wanted her back in the first place.
WrestlePalooza, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella in the last woman standing match.
God, no.
You know what? And you know what? My sanity will be on the line along with the IC championship.
I was just kidding, dude. Hell no. I'm not even going to put that out there in the world.
No. This match gave pre-show vibes. That's
it was just
only thing I could say about it. It was passable enough to have been on a pre-show 6 years ago.
It was just because we live in the year 2025 where we have to have at least one women's match on the card. If not, people will lose their shit. That's it. That's the only reason.
They could have given her any other opponent.
Yeah, they could.
I would have rather have watched
Machin and Julia here.
Hold on, one at a time.
I would have rather have watched Becky versus Lyra again.
Yeah.
I honestly would have put Michin and Julia here.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm so glad I didn't watch this. I'm sorry, but no.
It wasn't good.
Any closing thoughts, Tommy, before we move on?
Not besides the fact that I am beyond grateful that Becky Lynch retained, because I don't even want to imagine what the hell a Nikki Bella Intercontinental title reign would look like.
The one positive thing I can't say about this match before we move on? I had the ending to this match. This is one of the ones that was spoiled for me before I started watching, and I had a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
And I was like, hello. But watching it, I was like, I still got to get through this because I got to talk about it. I was like, why? My eyes.
Today has been a long day, and I didn't have the patience to sit through that bullshit. Honestly, I'm just like, not any other day I probably would have done it, but not today. Today is not the day for me to be putting up with shit like that. I'm sorry.
My wife literally watched Nikki and she goes, why is she here? And my wife only watches wrestling when I watch wrestling. She's like your wife, where you guys will do wrestling together, but your wife is not like understanding that of wrestling like mine is. My wife is just like, she's not even that pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife and I do wrestling together all the time.
My wife only watches it with me on the shows. She watches me weekly, but she don't know shit about shit.
That one went over your head. All right, let's move on. Sheamus versus Rusev, Donnybrook match, because I mean, I get why they did it. I mean, this is supposed to be the big blow-off match. They've been building to this, so it makes sense to have a stipulation for a heated feud like the one that they built between Sheamus and Rusev. Unfortunately, we see these types of matches a lot, so it doesn't make it any more or less special. It's just any other no DQ, hardcore street fight. Instead, they call it a Donnybrook match just to make it, I don't know, different, but it's really not, and it didn't feel different. I mean, they had a good match. That was hard hitting. The people in the arena loved the crazy table spots and the literal furniture that they use in this match. Sheamus got put through a bar stool at one point, or like an actual bar, a wooden bar fucking table thing or whatever. But I mean, they could have had a good match without all that stuff too. So, I mean, I'm glad Rusev won. I think Rusev is the right guy to win it because he's fairly newer. He just came back not that long ago. And the other thing that I really liked was Rusev reacting to the Rusev Day chants. He actually acknowledged the chants and he was like selling it like, no, I don't want to hear it, So I thought that was pretty interesting. But other than that, I mean, everything that we saw here was pretty much expected, I feel like, right?
Yeah, I think their first match in this series was their best match. Even though it ended in bullshit, I think that first match they had weeks ago was my favorite of this series they've done here. Rusev was the right guy to win, but he was also the wrong guy to win. They have done a terrible job getting the fans to invest in him, and he has done everything he can. The fans just don't care. They just don't care about him. And if anything was an indication tonight, they want him back in the Rusev Day gimmick. I've said this before a couple times now. That's the way to get them to care. They should have just bit the bullet and let him do Rusev Day again. Or he should have bit the bullet and said, hey, I want to do Rusev Day again, and stop trying to act like it's a thing of the past. Look, it worked. When he did the whole Bulgarian brute way back in the day when he feuded with John Cena, they didn't care then. They only cared because John Cena was involved. But when that was over, they didn't give a fuck about him when they were in, the League of Nations. They didn't care about any of that crap. They didn't start caring about him until Rusev Day got over. They didn't care about him when he went to AEW as the best friend. They didn't care about him when he came back here as the Bulgarian Brute again. It's like, dude, Rusev Day is the one thing that you know across everything he's done in the last fucking 14 years that works. So go back to what works. Because the one thing I wound up asking myself at the end of this match was, he won. Great. Okay, good. He won. He won the feud. Now what? No one cares about him enough to put him in a fucking world title picture. No one's going to root for him in that. And he's barely a monster heel because a monster heel requires heat. Half of his matches are heatless unless the person across from him is the person someone really wants to see win, like Sheamus. And since he's come back, he is literally like checks notes here, only versed Otis, Akira Tozawa, Sheamus, Sami Zayn. That's it. He's been back for 3 fucking months or 2.5 months. That's all we've had. So it's like, how are we supposed to care? The only 2 people you versed that were even remotely a threat were fucking Sami Zayn and Sheamus. And Sammy, you won for bullshit. You didn't even, I think that was a DQ. Okay. And then fucking one was a count out with Sheamus. You cheated the other. Okay. So now here's the final. You win. Great. I'm still not invested. So what do we do? We can't, what are we going to do? Put him in the Intercontinental Championship title scene? Because him versus Dom is going to go great for Dom. I tell you that. They'll make Dom ragdoll for him. And it's a heel versus a heel dynamic. So that doesn't work either. You would have to take the title off of Dom and put it on a baby face in order for anybody to give a shit about heel versus heel. And even if it was heel versus heel, Dom versus Rusev, they would cheer Dom. So Rusev's still dead in the water. This isn't working. Right guy won, but now you've booked yourself into a corner. Who the fuck does he feud with now?
I love the fact that you asked that question, because the moment that question popped out of your mouth, there was only one man I could think of. Out of everyone in the WWE, there's only one man I can think of. The man that loves to chop. Gunther is the only man I thought of. And that still would be a heel versus heel dynamic. But that is the only match that I can think of that would even be remotely interesting with Rusev right now. Because I look at this, I'm like, okay, didn't bring him back with Rusev Day, even though it's very clear you should have, but you still didn't. Nothing we can do about it now. Change his damn character back to Rusev Day, call it a day. Because you do that and people are going to love it. Stick with what works. Because if you don't, you're only going to bury him more than you already have. To the point where literally no one cares about this man. Even though they should. It's fucking Rusev. People should absolutely care about this man. But the problem is the way you've booked him. You have shown the audience that there is no reason to even follow this man in the first place. So the only thing I can think of is put him against Gunther, and maybe that will lift him. And that is a massive maybe. But his whole thing with Sheamus, make this the final match. He doesn't need more. They do not need to go head-to-head once again. So, great match. They don't need to do this again. Make this the end of their feud.
Man, we did a whole entire episode on Rusev before he joined the WWE, didn't we, Mr. Blood? Where we named a whole bunch of names for him to potentially face.
It was the 3 of us because Toxic couldn't be there and he couldn't be here tonight. We love you, Toxic. But we were extremely excited. We fantasy booked for a good hour on potential matchups he could have, but that was really predicated on if he came back as a babyface. Most of those matches were babyface. because
And a lot of those names too are on SmackDown now. I feel like we
Yeah.
said Rusev versus Drew McIntyre was one
Rusev
of
versus
them.
Jacob Fatu, Rusev versus Jeff Cobb. We said a lot of these. And now Gunther is out with no surgery. So it's like, and even if Gunther came back, just for what Tommy said real quick before we move on, the only reason people care about Gunther is because he's such a monster heel. They're hoping the baby faces he's versing overcome him. But Gunther is flat. He really doesn't have character. He has aura. There's a difference. So if you have a guy with no character versus a guy with no character that no one cares about, and you put them both together, you've got a heatless fucking match.
I mean, we kind of saw that already with Sheamus.
Yeah, but people love Sheamus. There's a difference. And Sheamus is a baby face, so he's easy to root for versus a heel no one gives a shit about. Same thing with like Gunther versus Jay. They loved Jay, so it elevated Gunther. People love Punk, so it elevated Gunther. People did not want to see Goldberg win, so it elevated Gunther.
I kind of feel like we should do an updated version then, an updated show on Rusev onto who should we see Rusev face next? Probably on Thursday.
He needs to turn
And none of us will be able to think of literally anyone.
Well, we would have to go down the Monday Night Raw roster, then come up with something. I think it's possible.
The only feud I can think of that makes sense for him right now is a returning Otis. That's the only. Well, he took Otis out and put him on the injured list. That's the only thing I can think of. We bring Otis back, but serious.
Well, let's put a pin on that, and we can get back to that.
I'm not fantasy booking it now, but I'm saying that's the only thing that makes sense because that's the only thread they've left hanging out there for Rusev.
Yeah, my final thought on this match is this. I feel like this match was literally only put on this card that way Big E can once again say big meaty men slapping meats. That's pretty much it. Because that's all this match was just two big meaty men slapping meats that was barely a good match at that.
Well, let's be real. It was a lot more than that. I mean, they've been building this feud for a long time. It was a grudge feud. This was the blow-off match. They were in Europe. They're both European. It makes sense to have this type of match. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to have it.
It just didn't need the stipulation. The stipulation just helped the pomp and circumstance of a blow-off. But it was a good match. It just wasn't the best one that they've had. That's about it.
All right, John Cena versus Logan Paul. Yeah. Another great match, kind of like the beginning, the opening match of Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. John Cena sold his ass off for Logan Paul. Logan Paul looked really good. John Cena was the one mostly on defense. Logan Paul got a lot of heat on Cena. It was a great match. The story that they were telling was Logan Paul's overly confident. He's too cocky. He was getting distracted a lot with the fans. John Cena took advantage, and that's how John Cena was able to defeat Logan Paul eventually. But yeah, great stuff here. I really enjoyed this too also, but what did you guys think?
I thought this match was really, really good. One thing I noticed about tonight, this was the night of finisher stealing. And I'm not just talking each other's. I mean, almost every match tonight had some spot where someone took a move from someone else in wrestling lineage and utilized it. Okay. In just this match, we saw a Styles Clash. We saw a Swanton Bomb. We saw the Pop Rocks. We saw the Zigzag. And we saw the End of Days from John Cena in one match.
We also saw the Dudley spot too.
Yeah, we saw the Dudley spot to get the tables. Nikki Bella took the manhandle slam. Like we took there's a lot of like tipping the hat to people tonight. But in this match, it was like John Cena was like, nah, we're paying homage to people. Because you said I only got 5. You said I've been doing the same 5 moves for 23 years. Okay, bet. let me remind you that during my U.S. title run in 2015, I added to the 5 moves of doom. The only thing he didn't do tonight that he started doing back then was the springboard stunner. Other than that, my boy pulled out the sunset flip power bomb. He freaking pulled out Styles Clash. He pulled out the freaking the dude just pulled. I mean, he just was using everything. Hurricane Rana. Like, I mean, I'm just sitting here, and he looked
Tornado
surprised.
DDTs.
Yeah, he was surprised. He what?
Yeah, tornado DDT too. Looked great.
Tornado DDT. He looked surprised when he got up to the top of Logan. He's like, oh, okay, flip. You know, I'm just like, and Logan pulling out a very kind of looking swanton bomb, but a swanton bomb nonetheless. And I popped huge for the zigzag, and I was like, holy shit, yo, Nick Nemeth here. And then I really fucking popped at the end of days and got very quickly angry that the fucking French crowd did not pop for the end of days. And I was like, y'all all pop for zigzag, but y'all gonna act like Baron Corbin's finishing move was not one of the most protected finishing maneuvers in all of wrestling history.
That's right.
Like legit, literally almost no one had ever kicked out of it ever until
it looked
a year before his release. But I mean, I love this. I thought Cena sold his ass off. I thought Logan sold his ass off. Logan was busted open from the nose. These guys gave it back and forth. And I told my wife's like, I don't want Logan to win. How come he keeps kicking out? My wife hates Logan Paul. And I said, I guarantee you it's going to take at least 3 AAs to win. And I was right. It took 3 AAs to win. But these guys had a great back and forth. This match, I don't even want to say that it was better than it had a right to be, because it's John Cena on his retirement tour giving the best he can absolutely give to the business. The way this isn't a couple years ago when he was coming in and phoning shit in and trying to be careful so he didn't get hurt, so he wouldn't, halt movie productions. This is John going, fuck it. I got fucking 8 dates left after this. Fuck it. Let's do it all. And Logan gave just as good as he got. And I got to say, this one surprised. It exceeded my expectations. And my wife she was getting mad that it was taking so long to end. I said, it's a great match. It's proving that it's wisdom versus youth. And she's like, I'm not mad that it's taking too long. I'm mad that it's taking John Cena so long to beat him, because Logan sucks and he shouldn't be able to kick out all this. I said, but that's the point. Logan's proving to John he is that good. So top marks for me. This one was one of John's best matches this year, in my opinion. I'm not going to bullshit. I might think this is like third, like Cody, him, SummerSlam, him and Punk, and then this one. I think it's top 3 matches of the year so far for Cena.
Completely agree. I do not think it tops him versus Cody, because that one's going to be very, very difficult to beat, if I'm being completely honest, especially with the 8 appearances he has left. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached single digits. He has 8 appearances remaining, one of which, at least one, are going to be going straight over to good old fucking Brock Lesnar. So at least one of those is going to Lesnar. This whole thing, I honestly liked the match. I loved it. It was fun. It truly did just have Cena go, hey, look, I am going to put it all on the line. You claim that I only have 5 singular moves that I only use. I'm going to prove you wrong real fast. He put in so many. And honestly, I hope that we still get AJ Styles versus Cena. Whether it is for an Intercontinental title or not. I seriously hope that we get AJ Styles versus John Cena, because that would be a banger match right there. But this whole match, Logan honestly did better than I thought he would. Because it's John fucking Cena. Best on the mic, best in the ring, one of, if that. I honestly expected Logan Paul to do worse than he did. So this was a great match at that.
Quick shout out to Alex Alberto G says, hey, y'all, from YouTube. Thanks for hanging out with this dude. Yeah. No, Logan Paul, he can get away with doing a lot of shit. Like, he does a lot of shit in the ring, but he can actually do it. So that's someone, if someone is going to be doing crazy shit like that, it's Logan Paul. But yeah, the little nod to AJ Styles, man, call me conspiracy theorist, but I think that wasn't for no reason. I think it's coming. I think we are going to be seeing John Cena versus AJ Styles, hopefully. We have a quick question. Quick one-word answer for the sake of time, you guys. Wrestler of the year 2025, John Cena or Seth Rollins? Quick, who do you got?
Of the year? John Cena.
Yeah.
He's putting everything into it.
John Cena.
Easily.
There you go. Thank you for your question. All right. Main event time, you guys. Main event time. Fucking A, guys. Fatal 4-way. Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk. And I thought this was a night, man. I feel like I say this every single PLE for LA Knight. This is the one, but I really thought this was going to be the one because everyone was going for, Jey Uso or CM Punk. And I would like to see CM Punk win it. We knew that it was going to be a very low chance of Seth Rollins losing because he hasn't been champion for that long, but no one expected LA Knight to win it. And I thought for sure, I'm like, watch, they're going to fucking swerve the fuck out of us and LA Knight is going to win it because no one expects it. But no, fucking Becky Lynch interfered and helped her hot husband, Seth Rollins, retain his precious World Heavyweight Champion. And my God, spare me, please. Oh my God, we have to see Becky Lynch in the Women's Intercontinental Championship division. And now we have to see her in the main fucking event. And okay, I'm a Paul Heyman guy because I'm the man. Oh my God, why me? Oh, now she's fucking everywhere now. It's so ridiculous. And what are we gonna bring back fucking AJ Lee now? Is this what's gonna happen? Is this the point of this? Like, we've been hearing rumors that there was gonna be another member added to the Vision, and we thought Austin Theory, we thought Ethan Page, we thought all these people, but Becky Lynch, why? Oh my fucking God, I can't believe it, dude. I'm like, the worst possible ending to this fucking PLE was this, and they fucking did it, and I'm pissed off, and I'm just like, do I really want to see CM Punk and Seth Rollins? I want to see them go one-on-one, not in a mixed fucking tag team match with their wives. Like, what is this fucking John Cena and Nikki Bella versus, I don't even remember the other couple they wrestled.
Miz and Maurice.
Fuck that. I don't want to see it. I'm sorry. I don't want to see it.
All right. Well, here's the difference between John Cena, Nikki Bella, and Miz and Maurice. AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins are all better wrestlers than those other four. But so it would be a wrestling match, not a sports entertainment match. But that being said, I'm the one who actually said Becky Lynch would be added to the group. I don't know if she's officially added to the group, but I literally called this along with Tommy like fucking 3 or 4 months ago now. So I legitimately said, I remember I made a whole diatribe about adding a woman to this because if you want to take over all of WWE, I said, that means you want all the gold, you want all the divisions, you want mid-card, you want tag titles, you want the women's division. I literally said this. And by the way, side note, so a fan posted after the show, CM Punk, when he was leaving the arena, grabbing a hold of someone's sign that literally said CM Punk and AJ Lee, and he grabbed their sign at the end of the show tonight. So maybe she swerved us when she said she was done and she would never come back. All I know is if I hear light it up, I will scream like a fucking girl, because that was the pop I wanted in the number fucking 30 entrance in the Royal Rumble, and what I got was fucking Nikki goddamn Bella. So I'm overdue for this. But as far as it's concerned, the match itself, I loved it. I think some things didn't make sense to me, where I was like, y'all could just work together and beat each other's ass. Jey Uso, will you stop super kicking the guys trying to help you? But like, I'm like, you could just why did you stop LA Knight twice? LA Knight tried to put him through the table. You super kicked him. When he tried to put him through the announcer table, you got in his way. Just let him take out Seth. You can have your fucking match. Why are you stopping him? Other than that, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought all these guys had awesome chemistry. Again, we all really hoped it would be LA Knight, though we all did say we just didn't see it really coming off of Seth, but in our heart of hearts, we wanted LA Knight. And I think, he keeps proving, I'm sorry, tonight as well, he keeps proving he's ready. He is ready. LA Knight's fucking ready. I will not be upset. In fact, I will be extremely happy if LA Knight's the one that dethrones Seth. If it's not Punk, I want LA Knight to dethrone Seth, and then I want Punk versus Knight for that World Heavyweight Championship. I would be completely happy with that. And it feels like they're setting up a one-on-one between these two anyway, so why not? But as far as it's concerned, this was fun. I think Becky, I'm not surprised Becky eventually got involved in this story, because I had already predicted it. I was surprised to see it tonight. And I love it because Becky was almost such a non-factor back here in the back of our heads that when we didn't think that, oh, the Bronze are gone, Paul's gone, we really thought Seth's going to have to win through the skin of his teeth, or someone's going to have to take it off him. I don't think anybody had Becky on their bingo card, at least for tonight. So I think it was a great swerve. And I don't see her being involved in this for a while. I see it just being she'll come out on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, gawk about it. They'll gawk, and then she'll piss back off to her own feud. But I do think it makes sense. She keeps bringing up her hot husband. So if she's referencing him, it makes sense that she'll get involved at some point. But I loved it.
Yeah, I love this match, man. Like, in our hearts, we thought, hey, please, Knight. But at the same time, we all knew a month, if that ago, the ruse of the century happened. There was no possible way that they were going to have Seth drop it, because that would honestly ruin the ruse of the century that was SummerSlam. But this whole thing, I was hyped. Mid-show, there was a whole backstage thing with Rollins, and he said, don't worry, I'm still 10 steps ahead. I'm like, oh, God. He's going to bring Becky in, isn't he? He's going to bring his wife into this, isn't he? That whole thing, I'm like, hell yeah. We called this shit 6 damn months ago. Let's go. I was so excited when she took off that mask. I'm like, I called it. We called it 6 damn months ago. Because if you're going to run the entirety of the WWE, you need the women's titles as well, which means Becky, or at least another woman, somehow would need to be involved. And the fact that it was Becky, let's fucking go. I was so happy. Like, there were people in the room. I dropped my phone on the table. I'm like, we fucking called it 6 months ago. Let's go. Like, I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
It's funny too, because the moment she pulled off the hoodie, I legit looked at my wife and I went, Snug's going to have a field day with this. She knows why. And I said, he hates Becky.
He hates this woman with a
I knew this shit was gonna stick in your craw the moment I saw that fucking orange hair, and I was like, "Oh, Snug's gonna be mad."
But this
Top marks.
ending wasn't surprising. We all knew it was in reality going to be Seth. But this whole thing, absolutely loved it.
Well, I'm glad you did, Tommy. Bless your guys' soul. I mean, I love you guys, but no, I can't. I can't do it. I'm just this whole thing with this feud that was happening with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I'm afraid that it's gonna get ruined for me if they do decide to go that way. I'm not gonna care about it, which fucking sucks because that's one of the things that I was really excited for. And also, if Becky Lynch does get involved with the Vision and she becomes a Paul Heyman guy and this and that and the other, there goes Bronson Reed's push because everything is going to be about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins now. No one's going to give a shit about Bronson Reed anymore.
I don't think they're going to overly focus on Becky if they do it. I think it's going to be tomorrow. Haha, I'm the man and he's my hot husband and we're the power couple. And it's not just me saying it, it's Sports Illustrated saying it. And then I think AJ Lee eventually returns. And if AJ does return, I think they have their own separate feud that breaks back away from this in the women's division. And then I don't think Becky stays involved. I think it's a bragging rights tomorrow. Fuck off to my own thing. Maybe CM Punk goes, I made a phone call. And then it's light it up, light it. And it's not about a mixed tag match. I'm sure eventually they'll have like one mixed tag match, maybe on Raw or something like that, or on WrestlePalooza or a minor fucking show, not a major PLE. But I think it stays where it's going to be AJ going after that IC title.
So are they doing like a fucking another legend killer gimmick with Becky Lynch? Yeah, let's bring back Trish Stratus for Becky Lynch. Let's bring back Nikki Bella. Let's bring back AJ Lee.
She's about because it wouldn't make sense because she has touted herself as being the legend. So I think for her it's about I'm relevant. I have to be relevant. I have to be on top. I am the best. Because for her, it's all about ego and her own insecurity. Whereas when Randy did Legend Killer, it was targeting people he thought needed to be put out to pasture. He thought he was giving them a mercy when he did it. So
whatever.
But I mean, we got to see where it goes. There's layers to this. I don't think Becky stays involved. I think it's bragging rights on one show. And then she fucks off to the maybe Bailey comes back after her or AJ Lee gets involved and then she's got her own thing down there.
Yeah, I hope you're right, Mr. Blood.
I'm sure that's what it's going to be. I don't see Triple H mixing the women's division in with that too long because he knows it would stick in people's craw. Why can't the women have their own thing? Would be a thing fans would bitch about. But if we're ready to go, anything else, brother?
Nope.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling because Snug loves Becky Lynch. Thanks for kicking it with us. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Don't forget, we go live every Monday and Friday night after Raw and SmackDown go off the air on YouTube, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook for live post-show reviews. And as a bonus for reaction content during the WWE's weekly broadcast on all of our socials, then hang out with us every single Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on TikTok Live, where myself, Mr. Blood, and the leader of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, that handsome Mexican over there, do our weekly one-on-ones where we dive into random wrestling topics and we answer your fan questions. So follow Snug Wrestling on all social media platforms, as well as on Apple and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And because our boy Toxic ain't here, that was one time for the one time. That was 4 letters.
4 letters.
One word.
Yeet.